In the Wings of Fire fandom, there is a ship called Glorybringer. Glorybringer is a ship between Queen Glory and her guard Deathbringer. The ship has been controversial for a number of reasons, mainly the age gap due to Tui's inability to be consistent with Dragon Ages and Deathbringer's overprotectiveness of Glory. I've personally had a very tumultuous relationship with this ship. I went from loving it and even making a map part around it once to hating it, to having a mild dislike of it, but understanding what people think is the best in the ship, to having a mild dislike of it, but understanding why people think it's a good ship in the end. There's also another ship in the Wings of Fire fandom between a bodyguard and their charge that may or may not be stronger than them. No matter what my opinion on Glorybringer was, I always considered this ship better. This ship, if you haven't checked the title, is Indigo x Fathom. I'm not sure whether there is a good ship name for them. Fargo, Indium, Coconut Shipping, I don't know. But I think they are perhaps one of the best ships in Wings of Fire, and I'm going to explain why. Before we get started, if you are new to this channel, please think about subscribing. I regularly post both Wings of Fire and Warrior Cats content, so you'll never be bored. And to my current subscribers, thank you so much for supporting me. I wouldn't have gone here without y'all. Now, without further ado, why this ship is the best. Let's start by looking at the dragons themselves. Indigo is a bull dragon. Despite being lowborn, she still says what she thinks no matter who it's to. She's very practical, and she's energetic and full of good ideas. She can take on harsh circumstances and come out with a calm and clear head. Fathom, on the other hand, is a doorstep who can't bring himself to stand up to anyone despite his position in life, being both a royal and an animus. He's aggressively polite. He thought that one should enchant objects with please and thank yous, and does so even in the most desperate circumstances. He's very self-conscious. The two are perfect opposites. Indigo is fire when Fathom is ice. Indigo can stand up for both of them, and Fathom can protect both of them with his animus powers. Not that he needs to, because Indigo is so skilled in martial arts. The two have also been best friends since childhood. Indigo's mother was friends with Fathom's mother, Manta, before she passed. Her father had a busy job, and so Manta offered to allow Indigo to be included in her dragonette care along with her children, Fathom and Pearl. Since two have been together since they were so young, they know everything about each other and get along well. But it is clear that even in the beginning of the book, they were already crushing on each other. One of the most common signs of crushes in young people is teasing, and Indigo teases Fathom about his over-politeness and other things. Fathom and Indigo encounter an obstacle early in their relationship, when Fathom becomes an animus. As an animus, he is expected to be more dutiful and take extra lessons with Albatross. These lessons separate the two of them. However, Indigo still tries to be with Fathom, even sneaking out of lessons to be with him. Fathom's animus magic also causes other dragons to look at Fathom differently, and set different expectations for him. Even before Fathom's first lesson, they don't want Fathom to marry Indigo and instead want him to marry a royal, so the animus magic remains within the royal family. The other royals, especially Queen Lagoon, already didn't like Indigo. Queen Lagoon even once tried to force Indigo to go deep-sea fishing, but Manta went instead. Fathom's animus magic made her even more of a target. Indigo and Fathom talk about other dragons' opinions on them. Old dragons, Indigo said, shaking her head as though they were just too hopeless. She added a few rose-colored seashells to his castle. Do you think the queen is gonna yell at me? Or make me stop being friends with you? She could never do that, Fathom said firmly. I'd enchant her face to shut up first. Indigo giggled, but he could still see that she was worried. Maybe Queen Lagoon had been saying mean, divisive things to her behind his back. Right after, Fathom carves an octopus and enchants it to be her friend. The octopus is named Blob, and she promises to cherish him. Fathom does this behind the back and advice of Albatross, mirroring how Indigo's also snuck around the rules to be with him. The octopus also shows how thoughtful he is. Instead of giving her jewelry or something non-living, he gave her a companion who could keep her company when he couldn't. Even though Fathom used animus magic to make the gift for her, Indigo makes it clear to Fathom that she likes him without the animus magic, which other dragons seem to want to pry from him. She comments that his carvings are better than the animus carved objects, and encourages him to keep up carving, even when animus magic would be easier. Fathom also makes it clear to Indigo that he doesn't dislike her or think that she's a burden because she isn't as rich or royal as him. He and his sister Pearl encourage her to wear Pearl's jewels. Manta and Reef, Fathom's parents, also help Indigo. Manta might actually be closer to Indigo than she is to Pearl, because the only reason Pearl could be queen is if she killed Manta and once Manta became queen. Manta went deep sea fishing and Indigo said at one time as well. Though the two are not together officially, it is clear that Indigo is, and always has been, part of their family. Fathom and Indigo embrace each other the way that they are, and embrace each other's flaws. Indigo is poor, and Fathom has the power of God and also everyone's expectations. The two also are, obviously, deeply in love at this point. Fathom describes how his heart flutters while seeing her, and Pearl sarcastically describes the two of them as being hopeless. Later, Queen Lagoon reveals her intentions for Fathom. She doesn't want him to marry Indigo, a commoner. Instead, she wants him to marry a royal, so that his animus blood stays within the royals. She even threatens to send Indigo away somewhere that he can never see her again, if he doesn't break up with her soon. It is only then that Fathom realizes how much he loves Indigo, when he is threatened with losing her. Before Fathom is forced to come to a decision, Albatross kills Queen Lagoon and then massacres his entire extended family in the Royal Seawing massacre. Though Fathom is losing his head, Indigo keeps her cool. She knows that Fathom, the second animus, will be a high target on his list. She thinks through their options very tactically, and decides they shouldn't fly away as they will be targets. Instead, they hide in the boathouse. Albatross finds them there. He goes after Fathom in particular. Indigo could have tried to run away. She wouldn't have gone far, and no one would have blamed her for wanting to save her own life if she had succeeded. Instead, she tries to protect Fathom against Albatross, against an animus with the power of a god. Fathom uses Indigo's distraction to enchant spears to kill Albatross. However, Albatross is able to fatally wound Indigo before Fathom is able to kill him. Fathom enchants pearls to heal Indigo in a desperate measure to save her life. Fathom has almost lost Indigo for the second time, first to Queen Lagoon and now to Albatross. You would expect him to lean more on Indigo after his entire family was killed, and her almost killed as well. However, after seeing how dangerous animus magic can be for himself, he deliberately pushes her away. He feels as though he might snap and kill Indigo, just like how Albatross killed his own family. So he decides to protect her by ignoring her. After the massacre, Fathom finds another survivor, his sister. When asked who killed Albatross, he says Indigo. Not too long later, Pearl bans animus magic in the kingdom. However, she also bans Fathom from seeing Indigo. Here's her reasoning. I agree, he said. He never wanted dragonets anyways. What kind of father could he ever be? Fathom, Pearl warned, that means you have to stay away from Indigo. What? He cried, his heart twisting painfully. But why? Because you're in love with her, Pearl said bluntly, and you'll do anything, break any rule for her, maybe even your oath to me. Fathom trailed off. Pearl was worried about the wrong oath, but she was right about one thing. If Indigo were to ever hurt like that again, he knew he would still use his magic to save her, no matter what he'd promised. Besides, it's not fair to her, Pearl said, uncoiling from the throne. She's my friend too, and I want her to have a happy life. Don't you? Think about it. What could she ever have with you? No dragonets, no future, nothing but constant danger. Do you want that for her? Fathom shrank into his wings. Was it selfish of him to want to keep Indigo's friendship? And how could he make a decision like this without talking to her? It was her life. She'd be furious if she found out he was choosing her future without telling her. But maybe furious was good. Maybe furious would keep her away from him. Fathom asks Pearl if this is right for Indigo, showing how much he cares about her agency and her choice in their relationship, especially after such a traumatic event. Pearl assures Fathom that she will talk to her, and after supposedly killing Albatross, Indigo will also be treated as a hero. Even though it breaks his heart, Fathom complies and does not visit Indigo. He feels guilt over not protecting her in the first place. He is also afraid over what he's capable of, and he wants to protect her from that. They still think about each other frequently. Fathom feels like since the massacre, his heart is missing. Eventually, Fathom is summoned to the throne room. Pearl, now Queen Pearl, recruits Fathom to help the Nightwings with their young animus Darkstalker. Indigo steps in and asks the Queen if this is safe. The Nightwings could steal Fathom, or the other animuses could kill him. She asks to be sent as his bodyguard. Even after all this time apart, Indigo still cares about Fathom and wants to protect him and be with him. That is true love. Fathom also worries about her safety right after, feeling bad that he is dragging her into animus magic problems once again. After they arrive in the Night Kingdom, the feelings they both buried reemerge. Darkstalker is able to tell in first glance that Indigo and Fathom are something more, and would be hard to separate. Indigo also reads Darkstalker immediately for the dragon who he is, a manipulator who will use anyone like a tool in order to reach his vision of a perfect future, no matter the cost. She puts a knife to his throat, almost killing him. Fathom is the only one who can snap her out of her violence. Her fear for Fathom's life is overpowered by her love and respect for him and his choices. Darkstalker can tell that Indigo will be an obstacle to him because of how close Fathom and Indigo are, and how intuitive Indigo is. Fathom might one day listen to her, so he needs to get rid of Indigo, but not in a way that would ruin Fathom for future uses, should I say. Fathom and Indigo finally get some time alone and they talk about their relationship. "You don't have to do that," Fathom said quietly. "I know I'm the real danger here." He caught one of the billing curtains and tied it down, avoiding her eyes. "Is that what you think?" she said. She stopped, only a few steps away from him. "Do you think I'm here to save other dragons from you?" "You should be," he said. He held out his front talons, watching the candlelight glow through the webs in his claws. "These are dangerous." "Not to me." Indigo suddenly gathered his talons between hers and stepped closer, holding them near her heart. "Fathom, not to me." The curtains rippled in the breeze, reaching for them with long, soft tendrils. He was close enough to feel her breath on his scales. He wanted to dive into her eyes and catch the tiny flames reflected there. He wanted to tell her how much he'd missed her. "Especially to you," he said. "You shouldn't have come here with me." He tore himself out of her grasp and turned away, blinking back tears. I thought it was Pearl keeping us apart," Indigo said. "She said it was your idea, but I didn't believe her." Both Indigo and Fathom want to protect each other. Indigo through physically guarding Fathom, and Fathom by isolating himself from Indigo. Unfortunately, those two goals cannot coexist. Indigo tells Fathom that she trusts him not to use animus magic. Trust is the foundation of a good relationship, as without trust, one can never be sure whether the partner is going to poison them or just give them a normal drink. Indigo continues to protect Fathom in more ways than one. After Darkstalker offers to use his soul reader on Fathom, and Indigo tells him no, Clearsight thinks. Indigo gave him a very concerned look, and Clearsight guessed what she might really be worried about. That Fathom might discover that he had more evil than good in him. She's trying to protect him in more ways than one, Clearsight thought sympathetically. Darkstalker urges Fathom to use his magic, but Indigo tells him that he can be happy without his magic. This isn't just because of what she saw during the massacre. It's because she's seen him happy without magic before. She's seen him happy throughout his entire childhood. She's urged him not to use any magic, even before the massacre, because she has seen with her own eyes what he can make with his own claws. Both Fathom and Indigo agree not to appear as a couple before others, or even as friends around other dragons. This is because they don't know who to trust, besides each other, in the Night Kingdom. And also because Darkstalker has been biased against her from the first day. It would be better to not give him any more leverage against her. One day, Indigo disappears, only leaving a letter. Fathom can tell something is off, but he doesn't search for Indigo. Not out of lack of care, but because of his care. He knows his presence in her life has endangered her, and he feels like it's the best option, as he would only bring her more misery. Fathom still has questions about her disappearance, such as her leaving behind Blob. When Clearsight tells him the Darkstalker may have done something to her near the end of the book, he only nods. He already knew in his heart, but he didn't want to confront Darkstalker. Indigo had always been the active one, who said whatever she felt like was true, not Fathom. Fathom feels guilt over what happened because he didn't trust Indigo on Darkstalker. While he was in the wrong for that, one also has to account for Darkstalker using animus magic to enchant everyone to think he was charming and brilliant. Fathom has a low self-confidence in himself, which means that his opinions on things wouldn't be as solid because he doesn't trust himself, so he was likely swayed easily because of that. Fathom enchants Indigo to go back to normal, and feels even guiltier about using animus magic again. However, Indigo steps in and tells him not to feel guilty, as he has saved a lot of dragons, including her, by using animus magic. Even then, it takes years for Fathom to get over his guilt for using animus magic. and for being happy despite breaking his promises. And eventually, he does get over the magic and his promise, and even has dragonettes with Indigo. Indigo and Fathom have a very strong and healthy relationship. It started when they were young. But then, once Fathom became an animus, it was threatened by dragons who wanted him for his powers. Indigo never wanted Fathom for his powers. She prized him as a friend and encouraged him not to use his powers. It was only when Fathom almost lost Indigo that he realized how much she meant to him, and right after, she was almost killed by Albatross. The two were separated for years, but when they reconnected, they instantly fell in love once more. However, Fathom felt like he could never be allowed to be happy because of what he'd done. Only once he had atoned for that by taking care of Darkstalker were the two finally able to get together. Despite all the obstacles in their relationship, the two got together, and are incredibly healthy. This is because they have a relationship built out of mutual trust. The two of them have known each other since they were young, and as such, they've seen the best and worst in each other and trust each other's judgment. Indigo trusted Fathom when it came to Darkstalker, and Fathom trusted Indigo's supposed decision to leave. Both of those were not the smartest decisions, but it shows a lot of trust in their relationship to go against their better instincts. They've also sacrificed a lot for each other. Indigo almost killed herself protecting Fathom multiple times. Fathom gave up his title as Animus Slayer for Indigo, even though he didn't know it at the time, helping her find rule in the new Sea Kingdom hierarchy. He also abandoned his kingdom for her. Both of them also have the same goal: protect those that they love. Fathom believes that he can do so by abstaining from using animus magic and hiding himself from the world. Indigo believes that she can do so by training her body and mind, so that the massacre will not be repeated. The two of them work together on a goal and eventually protect each other completely and harmoniously. In conclusion, Indigo x Fathom is my favorite ship by far, and I believe it deserves more respect in the fandom. What's your opinion on Indigo x Fathom? Comment down below. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe. I make Wings of Fire and Warriorcats videos pretty often, and your support would mean a lot to me. And to those who've already subscribed, thank you for your continued support. I wouldn't have gotten here without y'all. Peace, Rogan out.